I created 8 new classes for Pocket Fantasy RPG that are pay what you want on drive-thru RPG, and let's take a look at them. So I went ahead and gave you the 4 original classes, the core classes from the game, as well as the optional classes, the Bard and the Ranger. And then we're going to start off with one of our new ones, the Assassin. The Assassin's very much an urban-type thief, very good at moving in shadows, stealth, but also disguising themselves, and maybe more of an infiltrator of urban environments, more of a spy. Still has the backstab of the thief, but can also poison in combat and out of combat to really kill something good. The next one is the Berserker. They can rage for a certain amount of rounds. You'll have to take damage at the end of those rounds, but you get to make multiple attacks that can explode. They can ignore one wound, and they can also do a battle cry. This sheet right here is a little older. I've updated it since, and the battle cry pretty much stuns enemies for a round, so that they're kind of shocked at the ferociousness that comes out of the Berserker. The next one is going to be the Commander. They can take control of 2 soldiers. Pretty much they're going to have kind of like their own NPCs to take care of and give them orders. They can rally the troops and give everybody a little bit of healing and let them do a little bit more damage in combat. And one of their best things, of course, is that they're going to be able to use a heroic reroll to give somebody else a reroll for something. So very much a buffing type class, and should be a lot of fun controlling those soldiers. You could give them their own personalities and names, and that's going to be a lot of fun. The next one's going to be the Druid. This is going to be your nature type character. Obviously, they know a lot about plants and wildlife, and they're going to be able to create a beast friend, calm animals down, and create a beast friend, which is going to be another ally that you can use in combat. And then the Druid, of course, is going to be able to make potions, which is going to be very helpful, as the Druid will be able to hand those out to other players. And I think that's just going to be fun to be able to kind of maybe get on the Druid's good side, and hopefully they'll give you a potion. The next one is the Gladiator. The Gladiator obviously is going to be a very proficient fighter in hand-to-hand combat. They have a counterattack ability. Pretty much if anything attacks them and doesn't wound them, they see kind of an opening, a weakness in their attack, and they exploit it by getting a free attack on them. So just going to be an absolutely hacking up machine, the Gladiator will. They get to ignore monster abilities. That's going to be very powerful for some monsters that are very tough to tackle. And then they're going to have their Glory ability, which is going to let them, whenever they kill an enemy, pretty much generate heroic rerolls for themselves or someone else. The martial artist, of course, is going to be very much your Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type martial artist, being able to do extraordinary leaps, jumps, tumbles, flips, everything you can think of, running on the side of walls. I would say the more elaborate, more amazing, the better. They can make multiple attacks in combat with obviously punches, kicks, headbutts, whatever you want, whatever you can think of. So you have a lot of fun with this class. And then instead of binding wounds, they can meditate, which allows them to heal as well as get back a heroic reroll after combat. The next class is going to be a Necromancer, always a favorite. They can do a Drain Life spell, which allows them to do damage and then to heal themselves or groups of members of their party. They know everything to do about tombs, crypts, undead, so they're going to be able to know about the abilities of the undead, be able to really help the party out at distinguishing which undead they're facing. And then the last ability they have is, of course, to summon up an undead minion, and you're going to have a skeleton, zombie, or ghoul, and just be able to control that, create those in the battle, create those to run around and do stuff for you. And it's always fun to have a Necromancer. The last class is going to be the Spell Sword. This is just a straight hybrid of a fighter as well as a wizard. They are kind of a cut-down wizard where their spell list is not as strong. They can still do out of combat freeform magic. All their attacks are magical, and they get to re-roll them. So while their combat skill is not the highest, their ability to re-roll attacks is going to be very strong, as well as still have fun in combat with spells, and give another character class the ability to use freeform magic, which I know has been is something that's highly praised with the game. So there it is, 8 character classes for Pocket Fantasy RPG, a completely free RPG. I've done a video on. You can find it at drive-thru RPG. I've made tons of cards for it. There's everything you need for a night of adventuring, everything from the story to the monsters, easy to keep track of, fun to play with just a 1d6. And these 8 character classes here will hopefully add a lot more options for your players. Some of them might be a little bit stronger, they might be a little bit more complicated, but I think looking for something to kind of expand on Pocket Fantasy, these will be a great addition to your game. It is pay what you want, and anything that you give for this release, I will put right back into Pocket Fantasy, be it with new art for certain things, art for future projects I may have for Pocket Fantasy, as well as some of the money is going to go towards the organization Big Brothers Big Sisters, which I was a part of when I was a child, and it helped me out. So hopefully this will help give back a little bit and help someone else out, a child, that is in need of someone. So there it is. It's been a fun release, and if you ever play with one of these character classes, I'd love to hear about it. If you have any suggestions for other classes, I'd like to hear what you think. It's going to be a little bit difficult to make this second volume, just because there's only so many type of classes I can make that kind of fit with the rules, to have kind of the 3 or be it 4 abilities that the classes have, but and still be thematic in the way that they are. But yeah, if you have any ideas for any type of character classes, I'd love to hear them. And thanks for watching this video. Check out Pocket Fantasy, again, completely free. And this is still pay what you want, so if you don't want to pay anything for it, right off the bat, maybe you'll see it, play it, enjoy it, maybe throw in a couple of coins, and I can throw that right back into the game. So thanks for checking out this video in Pocket Fantasy.